So it's probably a good thing that we started prepping for the capital city at Bunyan Rest because I, we have a homeless shelter at the statue. What I was attempting to make as a beautiful tourist attraction has become a homeless shelter. Heyo everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pine Harbor County, where we will use and abuse the new operating district mechanic that was introduced in Cities Skylines 2. Last week, we introduced another passenger train and a huge amount of educational services. Now, in a recent comment, it was suggested that we begin working on the capital city, and I really honestly could not agree more. We have a blaring unemployment demand. So we're sitting here at 12.3, and I have been itching to start working on a skyscraper downtown sort of feel. So today we will be restructuring the highway system, maintaining and extending the rail tracks, and tackling a TLC checklist in anticipation of our first builds out in Bunyan's Rest. So without further delay, let's jump right on into it. So before we jump in on working on Interstate 5 here, I want to show you some things that I did off camera. So the first blaring thing that you can see here is I placed a single point urban interchange right here on the peninsula for Bunyan's Rest. It's kind of just a placeholder for now. I wanted to connect the couplet system into Interstate 5, and that is the second thing that I did off camera. I did just this, I guess, out ramp. Just comes in and reconnects with Interstate 5 to leave the couplet system, and it comes right back in. So these were things I just did off camera. I was struggling a little bit to get everything connected up here, and I didn't want to risk ruining something that was a solid okay in reconstructing it on camera. So with that said, to begin, I want to actually start today by moving Interstate 5 around. I know this move might be a little controversial, but the more I thought about splitting the highway at the base of this mountain here, the more I began to kind of like the idea, and just all honesty. It gives us a few more outside connections, a more unique build on the map, and a better layout for the infrastructure I have planned for this area. So what we are going to be doing in a moment is deleting this highway right here that originally came with the map and splitting it into a three-way interchange. Interstate 5 will kind of continue east to this hill and connect probably somewhere right around here. And then we're going to be splitting this way as well and reconnecting up here. And this is going to become Interstate 3. So yeah, pretty straightforward. We'll put a three-way stack interchange. I'm going to try and do this custom three-way stack because we don't have another one. And yeah, let's jump on into it. time ever making a three-way stack interchange like this. Didn't come out looking phenomenally gorgeous, but it's not bad. I think it came out okay for the most part. Yeah, good enough to keep it for now. Okay, so let's now go in and reconnect our outside connections. And I think I'm going to reconnect kind of right out here and let this one kind of run along the lake. And then I'm actually going to back this one. Okay. Lost my train of thought there. So I think I want this one to kind of just come in. I kind of want to keep it closer to this, honestly. So I think I might back the road up a little bit. I can live with that for now. Okay, now that we have reconnected and kind of moved everything around, I'm gonna just come in and briefly add a few spots that are gonna either mark or become urban interchanges, as well as what will mark our first arterial roads. important urban interchange right here. And a custom one right here. I think that should be okay to kind of get us started out here. Okay, so next I want to prep some of our rail networks, and if we come to look at this peninsula here, we have our passenger bypass track that we built a few episodes ago, and our original rail network. Now, what I would like to do is actually run these tracks parallel as of this point here up to the interchange, and then start kind of branching it off in different directions. So let's start with the parallel tracks. Sorry, not parallel roads. These are train tracks, not roads. Anyway, so let's come on in, and I'm gonna pause the simulation, delete that, delete all of this, preferably in one fell swoop. Okay, and there we go. And we're gonna run parallel tracks to one another. I'm gonna actually probably make this a little bit wider because I want to make sure that we can do stuff like that. Okay. Can we do it with just one? Because I'd prefer to save the space. Oh yeah, we can. Sweet. How small can we actually... I guess how thin can we get these train tracks to go before we can't actually... Wow. Okay, I really doubt I can go smaller than 0.5. Oh yeah, there's no way the game's gonna let me connect on 0.5. Okay, so we will, I'm sorry, smaller than 0.5. So we will actually be running our parallel train track at 0.5, because you can still make track changes, I guess, for lack of better words. And I'm actually also going to take the opportunity really quick before we build the train tracks to probably break things that I shouldn't, because that was actually really hard to build. But I want a smoother curve. Oh, that's such a better curve. Okay. Squirrel brain aside, now let's go on in. So I really don't like how sharp this curve is, or kind of how wonky this is. But I'm gonna want to be able to put a train station down here somewhere. So that's why you saw me kind of measuring and kind of seeing whether or not this would kind of fit in here, which it will. It'll be okay. Could also still try to fit it in here with some terraforming, but yeah, I'm trying not to be overly picky on this because I don't want to repeat some of the frustrations I was running into when I was planning for this episode. So I think I'm gonna let it be. Really kind of wish I could just wrap this here and connect it, make it more straight. But then everything would be elevated. And I really wouldn't be able to get another train track in here for the train station. I could elevate some height here. Then it's kind of going to stand out to the rest of it, I think. Because I'd have to get like a 7-meter terrain difference in here. All right, I'm going to leave it up to you guys on this one. I don't really like this because I kind of think it's atrocious. I think this curve is too sharp. This I don't mind too much, but I really would have liked to have been able to just place a train station right here. So let me know down in the comments. Keep it as is, put train station here. Change how this is laid out with your suggestions, or train station here and raise the terrain and try to put like a key wall or something to deal with the terrain difference. I will leave that up to you guys, so let me know down in the comments. All right, so next let's take this line right here on the west side of the parallel and let's run this along the I-3 interstate. I do have a little marker right here because we're going to take the train track and curve it into what will be the most tallest and densest part of Bunyan's Rest. maybe a little bumpy because I didn't think about the terrain first, but I like that this is above here. So for now, I'm gonna kind of just deal, bear with the bumps and the lumps here and focus on just getting this reconnected in because I really like that the train track goes right above the Interstate 3. Okay, maybe a little bit higher than I would have wanted right here, but I think it'll be okay if we get some tall trees in here. So like if we put a bunch of... Oh, maybe not. We'll see what happens. We'll probably decorate a lot of this with trees, which hopefully will kind of help even out the layers of height. That's a little sharp, but I'm not going to be able to just curve it. I'm not going to be, yeah, I don't think I'll be able to curve it right in because this is already at 10 meters and it's going to conflict. All right, so let's move on to connecting the rail line that kind of crosses over the I-5 here, and hopefully this one will be easier. I'm actually really just hoping I can kind of just get a general spot right here. Yeah. Significantly easier to do that one. So obviously we have changed a good amount of the original map here, so I want to continue making this map uniquely ours by coming in and naming a few of the places and some of the outside connections. So let's start with, I think we'll start with naming the outside connections here. So let's start by going on in. And this one we're going to rename Amarilla. And then here for where the Interstate 7 connects with the southern part of the map, we're going to call this one Glenur. We've already actually named Bathrick over here, coming off the I-90 East, or heading, I-90 down I-90 East. So now we also just need to name what's coming out here at the end of I-5 North. Okay. All right, so next I do want to come in and rename the interstates. As you can see, certain things got messed up in the naming. It would really be nice if we could draw a line and create the road like we used to in Cities Skylines 1. Maybe it'll come along someday, but for now, we are just going to kind of come in here and do our best to rename. See, it's reasons like this that I wish we could kind of have that old draw tool to distinguish, where these roads begin and end, because it's kind of just a tad bit annoying. But it'll be okay for now. We know what we're attempting, and I think that's really all that matters there. All right, and then the last thing I just want to name really quickly is some of the districts that we haven't named yet. So this one that we built in episode 12, and this one that I think we did episode 11. Can't remember what episode it was, but when we added all the passenger lines in. So let's come on in. And actually, I want to start with this one, and let's draw in, just where the district is for now, and go from there. So we've got those named, and I'm just gonna take a moment as well to kind of describe what we're seeing here with the high resource cost. So the company is having trouble procuring the relevant resources at a profitable price. And you'll notice a lot of these are actually petrochemical places. This is because in between episodes, I actually came in and I jacked up the price for taxes on petrochemicals as well. What was that under? Yeah, so that's under industry. So taxes for industry for petrochemicals is high. And I thought there was one in commercial, but I guess I'm wrong. So basically the reason I did this is because I obviously plan on doing a couple of cities here, or else, I wouldn't be putting so much emphasis on naming our outside connections. And I thought each new map that we built, whether we build it as an individual city or we build it as another county, I want it to be known for an export and like a resource. So for instance, little spoiler, when we come in and build Bathrick, I want it to be known for its medicine and its pharmaceuticals. So for Pine Harbor County, I have decided that I want it to be known obviously for its wood and its timber primarily, but also its export of electronics. So everywhere I was going, we were finding petrochemicals. Like, we were finding a gas station. Like this is like home for me. Like, hey, gas station, literally 2 buildings down from each other. So we are just going to let the game mechanics occur here. We're going to let these guys bleed out, for lack of better way to describe it. They are going to be bleeding out. And we're going to let the game mechanics actually come in and take care of replacing those commercial buildings. So as you can see, I've already brought electronics down to 1% here to kind of entice electronics, paper, and furniture, while still actually having a profit from it, an actual taxation, because if I bring it to 0, we get nothing. And that just doesn't seem realistic to me. So yeah, I just wanted to explain why you're not seeing me, or why you won't see me reacting to all of this. But yeah, coming back to originally naming our districts, we have now Aldersben, and Woodbine. So yeah, I thought those were okay names. Alright, so I do want to start tackling our TLC checklist because we have a lot of items on it, and a lot of it is in anticipation of constructing Bunyan's Rest. And one of the first items I want to work on is actually suggested by Sparky Boom Ma'am, who said we should remove the crosswalks here. And I don't disagree with that at all. I don't want people crossing there because they can cross right here. And I want to alleviate the traffic caused here. So those are going to be deleted, and I appreciate the suggestion. One I will have will be right here. And for now, we don't want to cross light there because eventually I am going to have to get them to cross over to reconnect at some point. Or we can just extend this pedestrian walkway. But for now, I think this should be okay. And yeah, thank you for the suggestion. All right, so something else I do want to do is come on into our telecom tab here and just admire all that horrible red right there. So that is item number 2 on our TLC checklist, is coming in here with a nice small radio mast and, you know, just increasing our coverage. I thought about going into a bigger one and letting it, if I turn the camera here, bleed a little bit into Bunyan's Rest. But again, I don't want it servicing Blackpool at all. So for now, we'll stick with a small one. And I thought it would look pretty good right around here. So let's pop it on in. All right, and I did just put a super small office here because, you know, as we were just working on. Oh, it's even worse. Oh my goodness. All right. Yep. I'm glad I put the office there. We just shot up from 11 to 13%. Anywho, I am going to come in. I'm just immediately going to add the upgrades as they really aren't too expensive. And they're very beneficial in my opinion. And yeah, maybe we do actually want a bigger one. What does it look like on the skyline if we do that? Oof. So chunky. Okay, so let's come in and let's just add a second one somewhere in this area to assist. Okay, it's not heavy green as I would like, but it is an improvement. As we develop the coastline here, we will probably add some more and maybe a big chunky one somewhere around here. Just again, we got to be careful not to encroach up here into Blackpool, because I am still trying to keep them low income. It's proving difficult, but I am trying. So next I want to work on our garbage services. And if we come into garbage management, I'm a little less worried about the landfill availability because this kind of cycles itself in and out, but I am worried about our garbage processing status. So we're going to first start over here in the city of Braeburn. And we are going to add, well, let's terraform first. But we're gonna increase our garbage capacity. So that should help speed it up here in the city of Braeburn. We don't have a huge, we're not overfilling in it, but I do want to try and process it faster. And then if we come over here into Pinecrest Junction, again, not a huge issue on the storage, but I do want to increase the processing, so how fast it processes. We might do a little bit of both because I just want to see if I can get this up into the green status without having to build another processing center. Okay, we might actually have to add another garbage processing center. Now, I did plan on adding one into Bunyan's Rest anyway, but I find it so interesting that we have, you know, trucks skittering around the county like ants. Everything is green for the most part, but the garbage processing isn't moving. So garbage generated and processed in the city, if the generation rate is higher than the processing rate, garbage trucks can't collect all the garbage from the city. Garbage piling up causes citizens' health to decrease. Huh. Okay, I mean, we might have to add another processing plant. I didn't think we would need to. Well, let's try one thing. Maybe I'm using the wrong thing here. Maybe we need... See, I don't think we need more storage because we have more than enough and it's processing really fast, so it's not like it's overloading. Let's allow the simulation just to run for a little bit and continue working on the TLC checklist and see if time evens this out. Okay, and finally I want to add another tram depot as well as another tram line to the city of Braeburn. And we're gonna do a couple of things because I do want to just place it right here, which means we need to move our train around. So I'm gonna pause the simulation, delete this segment of track. I think that's pretty good. And then again, a lot of this is in anticipation of Bunyan's rest and just getting everything nice and hefty. So we've just added a whole nother tram depot, but I am also going to upgrade some of our existing ones. The biggest issue I'm finding is that when we create a new tram line, probably due to the length of the trams that we're creating, since they're all, 15 plus kilometers, they, even at their smallest, are generating 9 to 10 trams, and I can't get it any lower. So this may seem like overkill on the surface, but each garage only gives us an additional 5 vehicles. So by building another tram depot, we have added to our fleet 10 vehicles first, and then by adding a extended garage to each one, we've added another 15. So now we have a total of 25 more trams, hopefully to kind of help us suffice for a little while. And then obviously what I also want to do is come in and build another tram line. And what I want to do is I want to get this tram line to kind of touch this part of Braeburn and come past the university and out towards the statue. So yeah, let's dig in. So surprisingly, I really actually thought this one was going to be a much longer tram line. Only at 15.9 kilometers. Now, I did a couple of things.
This is an emergency broadcast to all citizens.
Increasing areas of forest are being engulfed by flames. The thick smoke rising from the fire makes the air dangerous to breathe.
So many fires today. Anywho, so I did a couple of things on this one. Let's come back here over to the city of Braeburn. For starters, you'll notice that these two lines serve as a transitioning point. So if you're on the east-west Braeburn tram line, you can easily jump over to the Alder Bend Braeburn tram line. I also, if you notice, changed the color a little bit, and that's because this one spans between two districts. So I wanted to be able to recognize that visually instead of having to jump through a bunch of menus to see it. So we'll keep purple if they stay kind of within one district, and this kind of dark pink if it goes into another district. And now what I want to do is just kind of follow along one of these for now and see how it does. Okay, so while we are waiting for the game to just kind of settle itself out, let's jump on in to a Beautifying the Build time lapse. Alrighty, so that ended up being a super fast time lapse. We did have to, after all, do a lot more infrastructure than we did modular buildings, so it kind of makes sense. Anywho, thank you for joining me this week. If you liked the episode, please hit the thumbs up below, and if you are new to the channel and you want to follow along with Pine Harbor County, please consider subscribing. Next week, we will begin the first modular builds in the capital city of Bunyan's Rest, so until next time, I hope everyone has a phenomenal week.